All right. Good morning, or good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, wherever you're joining us from in the country. Coach Kevin Sparks here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. First thing I want to do is share my screen with you and point out a few things that'll be helpful, especially if you're here for the first time or potentially you're watching this as a future recording. We have a Facebook group that coincides with our meetup group, and we'd love to have you come join us. It has exactly the same name. I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. The way to find us is just go into your own Facebook account, look for where it says search Facebook. So it'll search inside of Facebook, and then go ahead and type in, I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. You'll find us, ask to join us, and we'll be happy to have you. The other way to join us is you can go directly to facebook.com/groups/ I want to be really rich as just one word. So some of the reasons you might want to be a part of the Facebook group, first of all, if we have any special announcements, we typically have those pinned to the very top. And then as long as I remember to hit the record button, which I typically do, you'll find the recordings of these different Zoom meetings in here. And it's also a way to interact with us outside of the time we have when we're actually having our meetings. So let's say, for instance, you're here today and you really like something and you want to review it. Typically later on today or tomorrow morning is when you'll find the recording available to do that. Okay. Or let's say we're in the process of going through something. Sometimes we do things that take one day. Sometimes we do things that take several days. Sometimes we do things that even take a week or two. Just depends on where we are in the process of what we're doing. And let's say we're in the process of going through something and you miss some of it. Let's say you're able to be with us. You're with us Monday and Tuesday. For some reason, Wednesday, you're not able to make it, and you're back with us on Thursday and Friday. Well, you can go back to Wednesday, the meeting that you missed, and go ahead and review it. Okay. All right. The other thing I want to point out is what we're in the process of going through right now at this very moment. We are going through a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I want to share with you how to get your own copy. This was written by Maxwell Maltz. Just want to remember, so we're on page 81 here. All right. Going to go back and show you where we found this. So I actually have a Kindle copy. I also have an Audible copy, and I've read Psycho-Cybernetics a couple of times, but it's been several years ago, and felt intuitively as we were finishing up the last thing we did that this was going to be the next best step to take people through. And so I went ahead, and whenever I can, if I can find a free copy of whatever it is that we're able to go through, I like to show you where I found it. That way you can go grab it yourself. We'll all use the same one. That way we can be on the same page. So I just typed in Psycho-Cybernetics PDF, came up with, went through several and looked at them. I like this one the best. This one is Psycho-Cybernetics, all in caps, by Maxwell Maltz, WordPress.com. The website says ding wallsc.files.wordpress.com. Doesn't really matter. When you click on it, here's what happens. It actually brings you right to the book itself. And again, this book was also written quite a while ago. Maxwell Maltz is no longer with us. And I'll talk a little bit about the book in a moment. But let me go ahead and get us back to where we were. So we were on, yeah. And let me blow it up bigger so it's easier for you guys to see too. Okay, here we go. How to use relaxation to dehypnotize yourself. So let me talk about Psycho-Cybernetics for a moment. We have gone through a lot of things. We started this group originally November 5th of last year, and we've been going strong since then. We also started a new group, by the way, a week ago on Monday. This group here, this is 10 a.m. my time when it starts, depending on where you're in the country, what time it is for you, but it's 10 a.m. my time in California. Well, I also do a 12 p.m. So this one goes on for 45 minutes to an hour, take an hour break. Then I do another one. We just started doing that again a week ago, last Monday. And what we're doing with that one is going back to where we started this original group. And So anyhow, that's not what we're doing right now. But what I'm sharing with you is we've gone through a lot of material and we're continuing to do it. That new group that we started, I'm going to put a link in here for you. I'm going to come out of screen share just for a moment, and I'm going to put into chat a link. Okay. That way, what is this link? This link is actually just the Zoom link for the next meeting, because all of the 10 o'clock meetings all use the same link every day, Monday through Friday. So you don't have to ask for a different one. You sign up one time, you've got the link, and it's always going. You don't have to come back and ask, hey, are we doing it this day or whatever. If I don't send out any kind of reminder, that's okay. We're still having it. Okay. Sometimes I'll try and send out reminders, but sometimes I get busier than others. So just understand we will be here Monday through Friday, every single week, unless I were to say otherwise. Let's put it that way. Since November 5th of last year, there's been one day, including holidays, by the way, only one day that I needed to take off to do something special with my family, and I couldn't be here with you guys. So just to let you know, we're pretty steady about this and consistent, but this link will give you access to the next meeting. I recommend that you click on it. When I do end this meeting, you're not going to be able to see that anymore, of course. So click on it before we go into the next, or before we end the meeting, so that you can go ahead and register for that if you'd like to be. And if you like what's going on here, you'll probably like to be a part of that one. Okay. So let me get back to sharing my screen. Let's get back into Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. So Maxwell Maltz, his background was he was a plastic surgeon. And he actually shares a lot about how we've been programmed subconsciously to perform in a certain way, and how we are actually designed as goal-seeking mechanisms. So we actually are born to attract and receive more into our life. Now, this particular book, some of the things we've gone through have been a little bit sometimes on the more spiritual side. This one is more on the scientific side. Not to say he doesn't talk about anything at all spiritual, but he definitely is taking this from the aspect of, well, science for the most part. Okay. So we're going to hop in where we left off. You're going to possibly, if you're brand new, I'm not going to say you'll be lost. Just understand that he has shared a lot of good information that you would probably want to go back and review yourself, or again, you could go back and review the recordings. But now I just showed you how to get your own copy of this. And what you do once you pull it up is you just hit your own download button, which I did, and I put it onto my computer, and then I could be in this whether I'm online or offline. Okay. How to use relaxation to dehypnotize yourself. Physical relaxation plays a key role in the dehypnotization process. Our currently held beliefs, whether good or bad, true or false, were formed without effort, with no sense of strain, and without the exercise of willpower. By the way, before I go any further, there's going to be an opportunity for you guys to ask questions and an opportunity to share whatever it is that you would like to share. We usually leave 10 to 15 minutes towards the end to do that. Just wanted to let you know we have that interaction. So if you're wanting my attention to ask a question, instead of going into chat and trying to get my attention, because I won't be paying attention for a little while, just wait till that time. And then what we'll do is we'll come out of screen share, and everybody has the opportunity to ask questions and share what they want to share. We've been doing this for a while now, and it works out really well, and everybody seems to be happy with it. So just understand that that will be the next step. Right now, I'm reading some of this, and then I'm adding commentary when I feel like it's appropriate, maybe helpful. Okay. Our habits, whether good or bad, were formed in the same way. It follows that we must employ the same process in forming new habits, or new habits, that is, in a relaxed condition. It has been amply demonstrated that attempting to use effort or willpower to change beliefs or to cure bad habits has an adverse rather than a beneficial effect. Émile Coué, the little French pharmacist who astonished the world around 1920 with the results he obtained with the power of suggestion, insisted that effort was one of the big reasons most people failed to utilize their inner powers. Let me repeat that. This is very important. Okay. He insisted that effort was one of the big reasons most people failed to utilize their inner powers. Your suggestions, ideal goals, must be made without effort if they are to be effective. He said, another famous Coué saying was his law of reversed effort. When the will and the imagination are in conflict, the imagination invariably wins the day. Let me repeat that. When the will and the imagination are in conflict, the imagination invariably wins the day. And our imagination, what's going on in our subconscious mind, whatever stories we've implanted in there, whether true or false, as far as the subconscious is concerned, are true. Therefore, the subconscious works to make them so. Let me get a sip of water here really quick. The late Dr. Knight Dunlap made a lifelong study of habits and learning processes, and perhaps performed more experiments along this line than any other psychologist. His methods succeeded in curing such habits as nail biting, thumb sucking, facial tics, and more serious habits, where other methods had failed. The very heart of his system was his finding that effort was the one big deterrent to either breaking a bad habit or learning a new one. Boy, this is powerful, guys. Okay. Very, very powerful stuff. The very heart of his system was his finding that effort was the one big deterrent to either breaking a bad habit or learning a new one. Making an effort to refrain from the habit actually reinforced the habit, he found. His experiments proved that the best way to break a habit is to form a clear mental image of the desired end result and to practice without effort toward reaching the goal. And we've been talking about this for months now. Dunlop found that either positive practice, refraining from the habit, okay, so that would be a positive practice, or negative practice, performing the habit consciously and voluntarily, would have beneficial effect provided the desired end result was kept constantly in mind. So we want to keep the desired end result constantly in mind. If a response habit is to be learned, or if a response pattern is to be made habitual, he said, it is essential that the learner shall have an idea of the response that is to be achieved, or shall have an idea of the change in the environment that the response will produce. The important factor in learning, in short, is the thought of an objective to be obtained, either as a specific behavior pattern or as a result of the behavior, together with a desire for the attainment of the object. In many cases, the mere relaxation of effort or too much conscious straining is in itself enough to eradicate the negative habit behavior pattern. Dr. James S. Green, founder of the National Hospital for Speech Disorders, New York City, had a motto: when they can relax, they can talk. Dr. Matthew N. Chappell has pointed out that often the effort or willpower used to fight against or resist worry is the very thing that perpetuates worry and keeps it going. Physical relaxation, when practiced daily, brings about an accompanying mental relaxation and a relaxed attitude, which enables us to better consciously control our automatic mechanism. Physical relaxation also, in itself, has a powerful influence in dehypnotizing us from negative attitudes and reaction patterns. How to use mental pictures to relax. So here's an exercise that you can take and do. Okay. So another reason why you probably want to download the book or go buy a copy where you can find one for yourself if you prefer a physical copy. Practice exercise to be practiced for at least 30 minutes daily. Seat yourself comfortably in an easy chair or lie down on your back. Consciously let go the various muscle groups as much as possible without making too much of an effort of it. Just consciously pay attention to the various parts of your body and let go a little. You'll find that you can always voluntarily relax to a certain degree. You can stop frowning and you can let your forehead relax. You can ease up a little on the tension in your jaws. You can let your hands, your arms, your shoulders, legs become a little more relaxed than they are. Spend about 5 minutes on this and then stop paying any attention to your muscles. This is as far as you're going to try to go by conscious control. From here, you will relax more and more by using your creative mechanism to automatically bring about a relaxed condition. In short, you're going to use goal pictures held in the imagination and let your automatic mechanism realize those goals for you. Mental picture number 1. In your mind's eye, see yourself lying stretched out upon the bed. Form a picture of your legs as they would look if made of concrete. See yourself lying there with 2 very heavy concrete legs. See these very heavy concrete legs sulking far down into the mattress from their sheer weight. Now picture your arms and hands as made of concrete. They're also very heavy and are sinking down into the bed and exerting tremendous pressure against the bed. In your mind's eye, see a friend come into the room and attempt to lift your heavy concrete legs. He takes hold of your feet and attempts to lift them, but they are too heavy for him. He cannot redo it or cannot do it. Repeat with arms, neck, etc. Mental picture number 2. Your body is a marionette doll. Your hands are tied loosely to your wrists by strings. Your forearm is connected loosely by a string to your upper arm. Your upper arm is connected very loosely by a string to your shoulder. Your feet, calves, thighs are also connected together with a single string. Your neck consists of one very limp string. The string which controls your jaw and you hold your lips together have slackened and stretched to such an extent that your chin is dropped down loosely against your chest. All the various strings which connect the various parts of your body are loose, limp, and your body is just sprawled loosely across the bed. Mental picture number 3. Your body consists of a series of inflated rubber balloons. 2 valves open in your feet, and the air begins to escape from your legs. Your legs begin to collapse and continue until they consist only of deflated rubber tubes lying flat against the bed. Next, a valve is opened in your chest, and as the air begins to escape, your entire trunk begins to collapse limply against the bed. Continue with arms, head, and neck. Mental picture number 4. Many people will find this the most relaxing of all. Just go back in memory to some relaxing and pleasant scene from your past. There is always some time in everyone's life when he felt relaxed, at ease, and at peace with the world. Pick out your own relaxing picture from your past and call up detailed memory images. Yours may be a peaceful scene at a mountain lake where you went fishing. If so, pay particular attention to the little incidental things in the environment. Remember the quiet ripples on the water. What sounds were present? Did you hear the quiet rustling of the leaves? Maybe you remember sitting perfectly relaxed and somewhat drowsy before an open fireplace long ago. Did the logs crackle and spark? What other sights and sounds were present? Maybe you choose to remember relaxing in the sun on a beach. How did the sand feel against your body? Could you feel the warm, relaxing sun touching your body, almost as a physical thing? Was there a breeze blowing? Were there gulls on the beach? The more of these incidental details you can remember and picture to yourself, the more successful you will be. Daily practice will bring these mental pictures or memories clearer and clearer. The effect of learning will also be cumulative. Practice will strengthen the tie-in between mental images or between mental image and physical sensation. You'll become more and more proficient in relaxation, and this in itself will be remembered in future practice sessions. So points to remember that you want to remember from this chapter and case studies from the chapter, which we started a few days ago. Okay, or yeah, a couple days ago. And we're going to go a little bit longer before we switch over to sharing. Chapter 5, how to use the power of rational thinking. Many of my patients are plainly disappointed when I prescribe something as simple as using their God-given power of reason as a method of changing negative beliefs and behavior. To some, it seems incredibly naive and unscientific, yet it does have one advantage: it works. And as we shall see later, it is based upon sound scientific findings. There is a widely accepted fallacy that rational, logical, conscious thinking has no power over unconscious processes or mechanisms, and that to change negative beliefs, feelings, or behavior, it is necessary to dig down and dredge up material from the unconscious. Your automatic mechanism, or what the Freudians call the unconscious, is absolutely impersonal. It operates as a machine and has no will of its own. It always tries to react appropriately to your current beliefs and interpretations concerning environment. It always seeks to give you appropriate feelings and to accomplish the goals which you consciously determine upon. It works only upon the data which you feed it in the form of ideas, beliefs, interpretations, and opinions. It is conscious thinking which is the control knob of your unconscious machine. It was by conscious thought, though perhaps irrational and unrealistic, that the unconscious machine developed its negative and inappropriate reaction patterns, or you left it open to those suggestions from the outside and you didn't block them out. And it is by conscious, rational thought that the automatic reaction patterns can be changed. The late Dr. John A. Schindler of the famous Monroe Clinic, Monroe, Wisconsin, won nationwide fame for his outstanding success in helping unhappy, neurotic people regain the joy of living and return to productive, happy lives. His percentage of cures far exceeded that of psychoanalysis. One of the keys to his method of treatment was what he called conscious thought control. Regardless of the omissions, so what we haven't done that we wish we did, or commissions, what we did actually do of the past, he said, a person has to start in the present to acquire some maturity so that the future may be better than the past. Let me repeat this, guys, because people, you've been told, it's that psychologist, psychiatrist mode where you want to dredge everything up first, and then you want to justify why you have the results that you have, and you want to rehash what it is, and you want to tell your story to everybody. All you're doing is reliving that over again at a subconscious level, because your subconscious can't tell the difference between what is happening versus what you're thinking, meaning it doesn't know that was the past. If you're thinking it now, even if it is of the past, the way that it imprints on your subconscious mind and goes out to the universe to manifest things is going to be in relationship to the vibration. The vibration doesn't say, oh, that was a past thing or a current thing. It just vibrates at that level. So dredging up does not necessarily make any change for you. One of the keys to his method of treatment was what he called conscious thought control. Regardless of the emissions, I wish I would have, regardless of the commissions, darn, I wish I didn't, of the past, he said a person has to start in the present to acquire some maturity so that the future may be better than the past. The present and the future depend on learning new habits and new ways of looking at old problems. There simply isn't any future in digging continually into the past. The underlying emotional problem has the same common denominator in every patient. This common denominator is that the patient has forgotten how, or probably never learned how, to control his present thinking to produce enjoyment. This common denominator is that the patient has forgotten how, or probably never learned how, to control his present thinking. For what reason? To produce enjoyment. Let sleeping dogs lie. The fact that there are buried in the unconscious memories of past failures, unpleasant and painful experiences, does not mean that these must be dug out, exposed, or examined in order to affect personality changes. As we have pointed out earlier, all skill learning is accomplished by trial and error, by making a trial, missing the mark, consciously remembering the degree of error, and making correction on the next trial until finally a hit or successful attempt is accomplished. The successful reaction pattern is then remembered or recalled and imitated on future trials. This is true for a man learning to pitch horseshoes, throw darts, sing, drive a car, play golf, get along socially with other human beings, or any other skill. It is also true of a mechanical rat learning its way through a maze. Thus, all servo mechanisms, by their very nature, contain memories of past errors, failures, painful and negative experiences. These negative experiences do not inhibit, but contribute to the learning process as long as they're used properly as negative feedback data and are seen as deviations from the positive goal which is desired. However, as soon as there has been recognized as such and correction, of course, made, it is equally important that the error be consciously forgotten. Consciously forgotten, meaning you refuse to bring it up anymore. That's what you can consciously choose. And the successful attempt remembered and dwelt upon. Repeat that. And the successful attempt remembered and dwelt upon. These memories of past failures do no harm as long as our conscious thought and attention is focused upon the positive goal to be accomplished. Therefore, it is best to let the sleeping dogs lie. Don't bring it up again. Our errors, mistakes, failures, and sometimes even our humiliations were necessary steps in the learning process. However, they were meant to be means to an end and not an end in themselves. When they have served their purpose, they should be forgotten. If we consciously dwell upon the error or consciously feel guilty about the error, keep berating ourselves because of it, then unwittingly, the error of failure itself becomes the goal, which is consciously held in imagination and memory. The unhappiest of mortals is the man who insists, man or woman, who insists upon reliving the past over and over in imagination, continually criticizing him or herself for past mistakes, continually condemning him or herself for past sins. I shall never forget one of my women patients who tortured herself with her unhappy past, so much so that she destroyed any chance for happiness in the present. She had lived for years in bitterness and resentment as a direct result of serious hair lip that caused her to shun people and to develop over the years a personality that was stunted, crabby, and completely turned against the world and everything in it. She had no friends because she imagined that no one would be friendly with a person who looked so awful. She deliberately avoided people, or what was worse, consistently alienated people with her sour, defensive attitude. Surgery cured her physical problem. She tried to make the adjustment and to begin living with people in harmony and friendliness, but she found that her past experiences kept getting in the way. She felt that despite her new appearance, she could not make friends and be happy because no one would forgive her for what she had been before the operation. She wound up making the same mistakes she had made before and was as unhappy as ever. She did not really begin to live until she learned to stop condemning herself for what she had been in the past and to stop reliving in her imagination all the unhappy events that had brought her to my office for surgery. Continually criticizing yourself for past mistakes and errors does not help matters, but on the other hand, tends to perpetuate the very behavior you would change. Memories of past failures can adversely affect present performance. If we dwell upon them and foolishly conclude, I failed yesterday, therefore it follows that I will fail again today. However, this does not prove that unconscious reaction patterns have any power in themselves to repeat and perpetuate themselves, or that all buried memories of failure must be eradicated before behavior can be changed. If we are victimized, it is by our conscious thinking mind and not by the unconscious. For it is with the thinking part of our personality that we draw conclusions. We tell ourselves stories. We make things up and select the goal images that we shall concentrate upon. Okay. For it is with the thinking part of our personality that we draw conclusions and select the goal images that we shall concentrate upon. The minute that we change our minds and stop giving power to the past with its mistakes loses power over us. Okay, we're going to stop there for now. And hey, there's some more of you here. Glad to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody brand new that I've never seen here before? There was someone earlier. We scared him. That's all right. That's all right. Okie dokie. Everybody's been here before. You know the drill. This is your time to share what you like to share or ask whatever questions you would like to ask. So go ahead and take it away.
Hi, Kevin. I'll start. I can't stand the silence. How are you?
Terrific. How about you, Takira?
I'm well. Today actually is a perfect what you just read was amazing because I'm in a meditation class with this one-on-one person, and she has me going in the past every session. Their philosophy it's annoying. I'm about to cancel it, Kevin, because this is confirmation. Like she makes you go in the past from your birth to 15, and then the other half, and so on and so forth. And then when I went back in my past, I felt mad all over again at certain things that happened. But their philosophy is that the brain takes pictures, and if we continue to throw it in the sun, they'll go away, and our mind will be a fresh slate. But this is contrary because to me, I can't stand it. I'm like, do I have to go into the past and think about all the bad things people did? Because I really don't care. I feel like God has used that to make me the woman I am today. So I don't have a sour, space about it. But I feel like they try to make you dig in the past, and I don't think I should do this anymore. Basically,
Well, follow your intuition, do what you feel God wants you to do. That's a simple one. I don't know how you got there in the first place, but guess what? You don't have to look at the past to figure out how you got there. You just have to decide where you want to go.
that's awesome too. And I also wanted to ask you because people have been coming to me with their problems. 2 days ago,
Uh-huh.
how do I stop that? Am I a magnet for
Uh-huh.
people's
Uh-huh.
trash?
Uh-huh. They're coming to you with their problems because all you're doing is thinking about your old problems.
But I really not. Yeah, because of this group.
And
Yeah.
here's the part that's going to really upset you. I think
Uh-oh.
I don't know what it. You're paying somebody to have you do it.
Yes. It's a lot of money too, Kevin.
Went to the wrong source, but anyhow.
I should have, you know what? This is confirmation, Kevin. You're the best. But good stuff is that the business is flowing. I've
Good.
been doing affirmations. I wrote down, I've been listening to Earl Nightingale as well.
Yeah.
And it's like to listen to, write it down the first thing in the morning and first thing before you go to bed, read it, see yourself in possession of what you want and like let it go. And all day today, I've been meeting people in my field. And then I'm like, Kevin is awesome because you keep telling us to like chill, let go, and it's working.
God's awesome. Kevin's just an instrument.
Well, thank God he picked you, Kevin.
You're
For
welcome.
real. Thank you,
welcome.
Kevin. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate you too, both of you, Takira and Kevin, because again, I'm reminded, forgive the past, forget the past. We start from here, we start from now, we go forward. That's it. That's it. That's all there is to say about that. Thank you for reminding me again. It's in there. Go forward.
Yeah, well, listen, we've now gone through, I mean, I could start listing right now, right? We're probably what, 6, 7, 8 books, something like that, into, different pieces by different authors that all have a different perspective on how this works, even meaning they're in alignment with each other, but they're bringing it from their perspective. Some's more scientific, some's more spiritual. Every single one of them has already said the same thing about the past. Not one of them has said, go find a good psychologist, psychiatrist, if you want to manifest what you want in life, clean it up and then go forward. They've all said, if you relive it, you recreate it.
Heal your inner child.
Yeah, make a new, it doesn't even matter. You know what? Just make your life what you want it to be. And by the way, I had the same struggles, guys and gals, okay? For the same reason, because there are people, have you seen a counselor? Have you gone to, have you done that? And I participated in things and there's good parts to them. I thought, I participated in Landmark. I participated in Psi, for those of you who know what those are. And there's parts that have been good, but I'll tell you, the dredging up the past, it's supposed to be so that you let go and forget. Your subconscious mind is not capable of forgetting. But you don't have to dredge it up. And the other thing, in our coaching earlier this morning, the thought kind of came to me, we've used cell phones and other things as an example, but think of your past. Look at your computer. You could look at your phone, you could look at your computer, look at your tablet, it doesn't matter. You have icons on it. You click on something, something opens up, right? You click on this, it opens up. You don't click on it, it doesn't open up. So what windows do you have open on your computer? That's just a visual for you. When you think about your mind a little bit, what windows what icons are open? What thumbnail has been opened? What app has been open? And you don't necessarily get to delete the apps. You've got unlimited storage. That's your subconscious mind. And your storage, your computer doesn't actually slow down just because it's got a lot of stuff. It's always going to run at optimum especially when we're in the right frame of mind. Here's where it'll feel like it's getting bogged down when you're running either negative programs of what you don't want, or you're trying to run your positive program, but every once in a while you go click on the negative one and open it back up again. Shut the program and don't click on it anymore. Take it off the front of your screen, go hide it somewhere, and don't click on it anymore. Only click on and open up what it is that you want to be running in your mind. The rest of it, hide it in a folder somewhere, and don't open that folder, because you know everything in that folder is garbage. So stay out of that folder. You don't need that folder for your computer to operate. You don't need to know how to crash a plane in order to fly a plane. You don't want to be thinking about crashing a plane when you're trying to fly a plane, because you might actually subconsciously hit the crash plane button. Think about flying the plane and landing safely. That's what you want to do. Don't think about when you skin your knee and hurt yourself.
That's such a great visual. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, we're so inundated, right? So might as well use what's practical around us all the time. Every day we're staring at these things, and we're opening, and we do. I mean, come on, let's go look. We got more than one window usually open at any given time, and we wonder why we get bogged down. But the bogged down in this instance is when it's either what we don't want, so we feel like crap, or we got what we do want and everything's going well, and then we open up the other one again. And now they're both open. And then sometimes we convince ourselves that the good one is why we feel like crap. So we shut the good one down. And we feel comfortable for a little while with the old one because it's what we were used to, because we hadn't uploaded a new app. We hadn't stuck a new program in there of what we wanted. And this one was always running, and this one's been running for years. So this one's the one that's comfortable for us. We upload the new program, and we need to get our subconscious to agree with us. And then what it does is it shuts the other one down, doesn't get rid of it, shuts it down, but we can consciously go back in and open it again. We can choose to reopen it. The subconscious is the one that will close it, but we can go open it back up again. And we do it, and we shouldn't. So, and I'm glad that was helpful to you guys. Any other questions or comments?
Kevin,
Yes.
it's Rika.
Hi.
Hi, you guys. I had a very, very complicated childhood all the way into adulthood.
Are you about to tell us all of it?
No, I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
any of it. I'm
Okay.
telling you nothing because I'm not bringing it back to the front of my mind.
Okay.
But the thing I was going to say, you know, everybody's, and you see it on the internet too, with all these people that do all this so-called counseling, that they're going to, you have to go into the past and heal your past wounds and all that. I was having a conversation with an older friend of mine, he's 37 years older.
Uh-huh.
And he was asking me, he very wise man. He was asking me some questions about something and that he knew. And I said to him, you know, I can't remember. I can't bring it to the front of my mind. I'm the person that I will not go back to things that were painful. I just have a problem doing that. And then he looked at me and he goes, you know, Rika, it's better just to let it go and forget it. Don't ever think about those things because you can't fix them. You can only move away from them. And I think that's what I have instinctively done all my life.
Awesome. Awesome.
I've read somewhere that if there's something from some time that you want to remember, the way to remember it is to take the time to remember it periodically so it doesn't get buried under newer memories. I don't know how true that is, but you know, I sometimes think about that.
It would make sense. It's like repeating the multiplication tables to yourself until it will pop out. I mean,
Right.
It'll be triggered very easily. Yeah. Cool. Cool. You know, I was thinking about a story. it's kind of funny, but it kind of goes along with this too. So as you come across people that you deal with, I was gonna say your friends and your family. I don't know if it's friends and family, but just people in general. But there was this guy visiting this little small town, and he'd never been there before. And he went to stop. He kind of was getting lost out
Are you
in
there?
he was kind of getting lost out in the country. And can you guys hear me, or did I disappear on you?
You're good.
Okay. So this person's traveling through the countryside, kind of a little bit lost. Also, he's friendly and he likes people. So he decides to stop by. He sees a house kind of down a trail by the side of the road, a little bit off the path, but not too far. You can see that there's a driveway. So he turns down the driveway and stops, and he gets out of the car, and there's a gentleman there who's sitting on the porch swing, actually has out a piece of wood and a pocket knife, and he's just carving away. And he's got this dog sitting beside him, kind of like a bloodhound or basset hound, something like that. And so he starts asking questions of the gentleman, like, hey, do you know how to get to wherever, whatever. And the dog all of a sudden goes, oh, and kind of shocks the traveler. But the dog stops. And so the man there with the dog, he didn't tell the dog shut up or anything like that. It was just okay. So he's still carving away, and they're talking and shooting the breeze, having a good time. And then a moment later, the dog goes, "Arr!" Well, after that happened 4 or 5 times, the traveler just couldn't handle it any longer, and he said, is there something wrong with your dog? He goes, yeah, there is. Well, what is it? Well, he's sitting on a nail. He goes, sitting on a nail? He goes, yeah. He goes, it doesn't hurt him enough to do anything about it, just enough to complain every once in a while. Think about it. That's what people want to do. They want to tell you, I'm sitting on a nail. And
Why do we have to hear
they want to justify why the nail hurts and how tough it is, but they're not willing to actually get up off the nail.
See, I don't want to hear that. I kind of want to, I don't like that. Even today, the lady kept going about her issue, and I said, you should come to our group. I'm giving her suggestions. She
Yeah.
did not get none of that.
I know I did this on purpose. I didn't do it for you guys to like it. I did this to say, can you believe, here's Coach Kevin telling me something I don't want to hear that's like painful and yucky. See, what if you came every day and that's all I talked about? None of you'd be here.
I'd be here.
Maybe.
Oh, you would.
But if what I did is for the first 15 minutes to 20 minutes, I drudged up my past before I got into anything and moved on and started sharing, this would be a mess. This would be a mess.
No, I wouldn't join.
Yeah. It'd be like,
There are people, Kevin, that when they talk about the past, and we know the past is never all bad. No way. There's always
never said it was. Never said it
there's
was.
always good moments, right? In everything that has happened, you can find a good moment.
Mhm.
But there are people that they choose not to remember the good and only the bad.
Right. And there's absolutely, obviously, there's good reasons to remember the good from the past. However, also you can watch a movie like Napoleon Dynamite, where you got Uncle Rico, that he can't leave that place. So he's always trying to watch me. I could throw a football over the mountain kind of thing. If I'd only made it to state, if I only made it to state. So he was living in those glory days of his high school, but he didn't make it to state, and that wrecked his life. So the point is, we only got now going forward. Past memories are awesome. That's why we love to create experiences with people we care about and love. Almost anybody, if I'm coaching them and we talk about what they really want out of life, more often than not, it's great experiences with people they care about than it is the accumulation of stuff. Doesn't mean people don't want nice things, but when you break it down, it's almost like, once I've got some of these nice things almost everything else is some form of experience, right? So since the past has already happened, cool, relive a few things here and there, but also don't think that the past is the best it can be. Sometimes we go back to the past thing that we love so much because we don't think anything can be better than that. How about let's create something even cooler than whatever we think was the greatest thing that ever happened so far?
Yeah.
Take the greatest thing that ever happened so far in your life and intentionally create something even greater. Work
You
with
know,
God and co-create something even greater.
I've been kind of looking around in the Facebook group on, you know, the rock and roll era,
Uh-huh.
you know, the older
Yeah.
people my age that hang out in those places. And you know, everybody talks about, and we hear it everywhere, the good old days, the good old days. It kind of fixes it in my mind that there can't be good days up ahead because we're always saying the good old days.
Uh-huh.
Like the old days were so much better. We just, at the wrong time, we leave out the bad stuff.
Yeah. Bob Proctor, if you look at his company and the way everything is set up, and I'm not telling you that anybody of any age that you should or should not, okay? Bob wants to stay young forever.
Mhm.
And he's going to be 87 in July, but he runs around like somebody who's 30 or 40. He's got the white hair appearance and stuff like that. But Bob says that he refuses to hang out where old people hang out. He says, so everybody around him is young. And that is true. I've been in his presence. I've been around the majority of the people that are his inner circle. He'll
Mhm.
attract older people to listen to him and learn sometimes. But if you really take his tight inner circle of people, other than like his son and daughter-in-law and whatnot, his inner circle of people running his company and his people that are helping him grow, they're in their 20s and 30s for the most part.
Wow, that's very young.
And that's why he was prepared when COVID hit, because he already had a broadcasting station in his house, in his backyard. He had built another, kind of like people have a guest house. Well, he'd taken the guest house and turned it into a studio, a broadcasting studio. And so nothing slowed him down other than he didn't get to travel as much. But as far as getting his message out and coaching and teaching and everything else, everything he had was already done. And the guy that runs his studio while he's physically doing things is a kid, essentially a 20-something-year-old, who actually runs it from England.
Yeah.
He's not even physically there. So Bob surrounds himself with everything he needs, stays young in what's going on, and then teaches what it is. But the principles he teaches, none of them have changed. Everything that he doesn't come up with anything really new, so to speak. He just takes information that's been around for 100+ years and helps people understand it and apply it. That's essentially what I'm doing with you guys, is taking information. All I keep showing you is free information and helping you understand it. And then answering your questions about it. But you got to practice it before you can understand it. I've been practicing it for a while. All right. Any other questions or comments? Let's see what time we got. Yeah, we're okay. Any other questions or comments before we move on? And then you can of course join us in an hour if you like again. You got something? Somebody came off mute. Shatha?
Yes, hello.
Hi. Did you want to say something or?
Maybe not today. I'm
Okay.
a little tired. I couldn't make it yesterday, so.
Okay. I just wondered because you came off mute. Just wanted to give you a chance if you wanted something. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okie dokie, Smokey. We are done for today with this one. Some of you I'll see in about an hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.